Hey, what's going on YouTube? And welcome to the live stream review for number 67, the Beige Carpet After Party. We're going to have some fun talking about the live stream that we just watched, and there's a ton of stuff that came up that to me was very surprising. We'll get into that in just a moment. But before I do, I want to give our guests a chance to say hello. You guys know I'm guessing all of them, but I want to just give them a chance to, hear their own voice on this thing before we get started. So take it away, Flip.
I'm Flip Method. This was a great live stream, better than the rest, at least.
I am inclined to agree. Sart, go ahead and say hello.
Hey there, guys. Sart here. Yeah, I was definitely impressed more by this live stream than previous ones, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Very cool. And in alphabetical order, Mr. Sinzar.
What's up, guys? Yeah, the live stream was better than usual. It felt like they weren't just reading cue cards. It was actually more of a discussion and presentation. So it was nice.
I thought though that there were several things about this one that were very different, and I think were nice changes. But before we dig into all that, I've asked you guys some questions to kind of think about. And so, was this live stream about what you expected it would be about? And if not, what were you expecting?
Yeah, pretty much. It was about the new class unit and the new events coming up. So about what I kind of expected for the live stream.
I was expecting games.
You were expecting games?
I was expecting games. I mean, they've consistently delivered those weird games, and whereas it may be fun for them, it's kind of where we tune out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What about you, Sart?
I think all of us were expecting them to announce leader skills and the sort of the new shift in the meta, but I definitely wasn't expecting a global unit to already come preemptively with these leader skills, sort of preempting Dio, because I know he was sort of like the one leading the charge. But so we'll be interested to see how this plays out.
Well, and we're going to talk about that in just a second for sure, but they actually did say that it's not coming out at the same time, or not right when she comes out. So
I guess that's true.
Yeah, some drama there. I was expecting, I was expecting this to be all about Dio and not about what we got. So I'm very excited about it. Clash of Wills being one of my favorite things about the game. So for us to know more about what's coming here in the next couple of days is super exciting for me. So very cool. My next question I had for you, of what they shared, what do you think is going to change the game the most?
Leader skills, and for the worse.
You think for the worse? Why do you say for the worse? Because you were just talking about that before we got started.
Well, this could be like a long tangent, but it's not really evident right away. But as I know from playing the JP server, 6 months into leader skills, the game becomes more and more and more hyper focused on specific leader skills and completely balanced around those leader skills. And if you're not willing to pull the new premium unit like every few weeks to keep replacing your entire team, like you fall behind. And then that's the thing too, is when you replace your leader skill, you're not replacing a unit, you're replacing 6 units. The whole team gets tossed in the trash, and you've got to replace everybody. Because if you're using a dark team and you replace Dio with like Zac, well, you're not using Sephiroth Rain anymore. You have to kick them all out and get the whole lightning lineup, stuff like that. And just because the game becomes so incredibly focused around it and balanced around it, like you just can't complete turn count missions if you don't have them for these locked stages. Sometimes you can't even kill the boss if you don't have them, and it changes the game for the worse long term. It's kind of not really the hype you probably wanted to hear during the stream, but it's kind of the reality as we go forward.
I like reality, and I don't know if Flip and Sart, if you guys get into JP, I know I pay attention to what's coming, but I don't play it. So it's good to have that feedback, going into it, because for players on a budget, that's going to be very, very important going forward. What about the other guys? What do you think is going to change the game the most?
I mean, I think it's definitely hard to argue that it's leader skills. Like, it's a functional change to how you set up a team. Like, you have to have the leader skill unit on your team. And if you aren't running it, you simply won't be able to do the content. So, I mean, I think leader skills actually change how you pull and how you play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm of two minds on leader skills, because on one hand, I feel like the game needs something new and exciting. It's, for me at least, it feels like it's getting a bit repetitive. There's not a whole lot of exciting stuff. You got like your, Clash of Wills is still fun. And Clash, global exclusive units designed for Clash are fun, but I am sort of ready for something new to reinvigorate. Is leader skills going to do that? I don't know. It remains to be seen. I think the fact that it's just kind of like Sinzar has been saying, you have this one unit and you have to build the team around it, because that team makes all other teams obsolete. I don't know that that's going to be good for the game's long-term health, and we'll have to see if Global puts more emphasis on it with their global exclusives, which they have with Ibara, so that maybe we'll get more of these leader skills units to sort of fill out a team and have more options with global exclusive units.
I'm certainly hopeful. And
I think it's important to like echo of what Sinzar said, though. It's like, I think it's important that if they do release like global units, that they aren't just phased out whenever the new leader skill comes out. Like, as long as you have some sort of longevity to your units, more than 1 or 2 months, then I think it's fine.
I did see something in their slides, though, which I'm going to point out when we get there, that I'm very hopeful for and excited about when it comes to the longevity of certain units when it comes to leader skills. So we'll get there. We'll put a pin in that one for right this moment. The last question I had for you guys was, we've been doing several of these live stream reviews for a little while here. I think this might be the 5th one we've done. What do we think that the live stream format is the best way for them to share new information with us as a community, as people who do videos and do Twitch and things like that? Do we feel like this is something that's useful for them to share with us the way we share with the people that we work with?
I think they like it because there's the live interaction. They can say, do you guys really like this? And they try to read chat and see what people are saying. And that's exciting. But I felt like whenever everything was pre-recorded and they just delivered a video, we got more information.
I will say, though, they did a much better job tonight of reading and interacting with chat. Especially towards the end, there were some bonus Q&A questions that came up that I thought were really, really cool that they were addressing and talking about live things in the moment. Pretty cool.
I mean, I think if more live streams were like this one, I felt like this one moved at a good pace. They had Alex. Thank goodness they had Alex there to bring some excitement back. And I think Tony fed off that energy. Having Hiroki's great too, but Alex and Tony together, if they could be on live streams from here on, it was peppy, it was zippy. We kind of got through it. Like, I was surprised. I saw like the 90-minute runtime coming up, and I'm like, oh geez, it's gonna be a slog fest. But they got through it, and it felt like, okay, that was actually a decent stream.
Yeah, I think Tony's energy is sort of like synonymous with who he's around.
Yeah.
And so,
Agreed.
By Tony being surrounded by these energetic people, he was up there. He was up there with them.
I really feel like Tony came into his own on this one. I think we were seeing more of like excitable, energetic Tony for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that one, Sinzar?
Well, the live stream's fine. I think it's a good complement to the in-game news as well. For me, I think the best way to present, information is to give us like all the information. I've kind of said it before, like especially the in-game news is where they just like don't give you numbers for a skill. Like when they preview a skill, it's like we boost damage to beast. Like how much? By 50%, by 250, etc. So I personally wish they would give us the actual details, like in detail for stuff. But as far as like live stream versus in-game news, I'm actually kind of glad they still do both of them instead of just one or the other.
Yeah, For sure. Cool. Well, thanks for your feedback on those questions. We're going to dive straight into it. And the very first thing they talked about in the live stream was actually something that they posted about today on all their social media, which was that we're getting this event, the Dark Lineage event. So, Sinzar, I'm going to rely on you since you played in JP. What can you tell us about what this was like in JP?
The Dark Lineage event, it's basically the same kind of concept as the Dark Reign event, if you remember, kind of like an offshoot. The Dark Reign stuff, by memory, was like an alternate universe where it didn't really happen in the main story. This I do believe is like the actual canon main storyline. So it really happened. This is history, and then the current stuff. But yeah, it's just like a little side story. Well, not little, it's actually kind of big. It takes place over like 5 or 6 different events, so it's going to be ongoing for a while. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil like what actually happens, but for those that care about the story, though, you should definitely read it. I couldn't actually read it in JP, but I did read like a synopsis of what was happening. I watched the cutscenes, so it's cool, I guess.
One thing that I know at least 2 of us on this call were excited about when we saw the video for this was English voice acting, not just for like what looked like limit bursts, but just like for the story and like stuff that was going on for this video. And I don't know if that's going to be included in the game. I really hope it is. But Flip, you were pretty excited about that too. What were your thoughts on that?
Oh my God. Okay. It was the most exciting thing for me in the entire live stream.
Yes.
So I have played this game like forever, too many years to count now, damn near a decade. And them finally giving us like English voice acting for something is just, it's monumental as far as I'm concerned, because I've always wanted this game to be, like a full game, full-fledged, full story, full everything. Give me a PlayStation version or whatever. And for them to like bring that out through full voice acting in this Dark Lineage thing, it made me feel like they were bringing back the storyline, the full sense of the world. It was so cool. Yeah. I loved it.
Very cool. I thought it sounded good. The voice acting was good itself, and I've heard Dio's LB in JP, and it sounds really cool. But it was really neat to just hear it in a different way, and I thought Rain sounded awesome. If you haven't,
Rain's voice actor was so good.
If for some reason you're watching my video and you haven't gone and seen the live stream yet, like please go watch that part of it because it was very cool.
And it's a different voice actor than the one they used for Rain and War of the Visions. Mm-hmm. So Rain and War of the Visions had some English cutscenes, and they used a certain voice actor for him, and just I couldn't stand him. And this is a different guy. Perfect. Loved it.
Very cool. In addition to the video, they also showed us some information. They showed that that there's definitely some story about Rain and Reagan and lots of things that are going on. And they showed a second portion of that as well. And then they showed. I want to
go. If you can go back one slide.
Yeah.
So isn't the person that's like the front and center the person that the story is about? So is the story centered around about Roka?
Well, I mean, if you're talking front and center, I think that's Reagan in the very, very front.
But he's so tiny.
I know.
Yeah, the whole story is primarily Reagan and Dio, their interaction and how those two, came to be. The rest of the characters were for the most part side characters during the story.
So why is Roka predominantly the largest part of the? Anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, but they did show us that these were all the main characters of the event, and I think the art's really cool. Like it's a different flavor than we usually get as far as like what these characters look like. So I think it's cool.
I like the art.
Sure. That image in your previous slide is actually a free vision card you get during the event, which is kind of cool.
Oh, this one?
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that right there. That is the exact art of the free vision card.
When it's a vision card, does it say Final Fantasy Brave Exvius Dark Lineage on it?
I don't remember if it does or not. The card is, as you can kind of expect from a free card, nothing special.
I was gonna say, is it as good as the return card?
Yeah, it's one you're not really going to use for most players.
Gotcha.
But if you enjoy that art and all, you can put that as your home screen, stuff like that.
Cool, and it has Boomer on it.
What music does it play?
It's a good question. I don't think I've ever actually checked. I don't know.
Probably a season 4 track, you know?
Season 4 does have some bangers, that's for sure. Cool. So they showed us the characters and stuff too. There's this question: is it really they who attacked and captured Rain, or are they impersonators donning the armor? We'll have to find out on Thursday. So obviously, you know, the big show here is Deoxys. So I thought it was
Deoxys.
Is it Deoxys? Deoxys? Which
Tony
what are we
said
saying?
Deoxys.
Yes, he did. So I'm gonna stick with just saying Dio, right? But joins the fray on March 23rd, which is definitely not Thursday of this week. What do we think about that? Like they're telling us about something that's coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they also discussed some other content updates coming that week. So it's pretty clear that that's going to be our app update, which includes the leader skills and all. And that's probably why they're waiting, because like his whole purpose is the leader skill, basically.
Right.
And trying to sell him before the leader skill would be kind of weird.
Yep.
And they said that Ibara, whenever she launches, she will not have her leader skill. And the week after, on the 23rd, is whenever she would have her leader skill. So she's next week. And then Deoxys is on the 23rd.
Yes. Speaking of
she comes in pre-nerfed.
Yep. Pre-nerfed. Yep, exactly. Speaking of him, here's what they say he's all about. He's a strong physical attacker with dark element attacks, able to imbue dark, boost dark, increase damage against humans for himself, and has the leader skill. So if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what leader skills are at this point, here is what his does. And I'm pretty sure this is the same as it was in JP, right? So it's attack and magic 500%, defense and spirit 200% for dark and anniversary units.
Yep, pretty much. So the anniversary units are, for the most part, all kind of irrelevant, except for mid. Mid is the only one that would be included that you wouldn't expect anyway.
Okay, so there you go.
I like that we finally have a use for the leader skills, because if you remember way back when, leader skills or leaders used to be who your friend unit was. And then whenever they just made it like you have a separate menu for it and you can share 5 friends, there was just no reason, but you could select who the leader was. So now we finally have a reason to use leaders and that function of the game. So it's kind of cool. I like it for that.
Yeah. And they did specify that multiple times, that you do have to set them as a leader. You do have to set them as a leader. They kind of showed that there it is. There's the button that says set as leader. It shows, that somebody has, the benefits of a leader skill. They did say specifically that Cleome and Axstar do not have a leader skill at this time. But there you go. In fact, it's even in the fine print there. And that's how you can see, where your leader skills are coming from. The other thing that they mentioned was categories. And so there's going to be this whole, way of classifying and categorizing units. We've kind of been throwing around the term tag, like having, the FFBE tag or the dark tag or things like that. And they gave us some examples that I want to pop up on the screen for us to talk about. In particular, these two. So they showed us Lilith, who they say she has the dark tag, the physical tank tag, the attacker tag, the FFBE tag, and the one that I'm super, super pumped about, a Clash of Wills tag. And so this was what I was talking about earlier when I said that, maybe some of these units will have like the ability to extend their longevity if they're focusing on Clash of Wills as a category of units. I think that's really, really cool. What are your thoughts on this?
So they make the tag and then they don't use it, which is the most frustrating, stupid thing ever.
Are you talking specifically about Ibara?
What do you mean?
Ibara, yes, I'm jumping ahead a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's we'll talk about that when we get to her, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that they separate like FFBE and Clash of Wills, because whenever I go to filter, for instance, and I sort by FFBE, or if a vision card, say, is good for FFBE, it's good for the usable units. And if it's for Final Fantasy IV or whatever, then it's good for like one person. So I like that they're separating at least FFBE and Clash of Wills, because they do feel like 2 different categories.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Now I'm going to ask Sartre.
Yeah.
So Sartre, what are your thoughts on this marking Sylvie as a lightning tag?
It gives me hope for the future. That's I mean, I are they hinting at something, or is that a wink, wink, nudge, nudge? Does this mean we're going to see a best funny girl coming up here in the future? I don't know. I like it. It made me happy. I mean, seeing Sylvie in general always makes me happy. Anything linked to Esther and Sylvie. But yeah, I mean, Lightning tag is great. I guess she could have been Lightning, but the Clash of Wills tag was definitely more exciting in general, just to see that separation and knowing that we will have units with these leader skills, specifically for Clash.
I just know there's been lots of discussion about, is she going to be lightning? Is she going to be earth? And it's like I'm not surprised that they don't have two, because I'm pretty sure that's the way it is for everybody. Everybody has one element, but they're going to want her to partner with Esther. Like, that's the way she is, and Esther has to be a lightning. So,
yep. Yeah, I mean, I think there was really no. It was either she was going to have both elements for lightning. I don't think there was ever a chance she'd be just Earth.
I was really hoping they'd fix that for global, because you are correct that that's just the way JP does it. They pick one element no matter what, and that's all they get. I personally feel that's a mistake, and that's actually what leads us into the problem I was talking about, where it just forces you to get rid of units because you don't match that one tag.
Yeah.
So I was hoping global would fix that and then give units a tag for all their elements, but I guess we're not. I guess we're keeping the same bad system.
Speaking of the same bad system, here are some examples of some leader skills that they showed us that that some older units are going to have. So Lotus or Warriors Prayer Dark Fina, Gabranth, the return units are going to get some love. It's kind of cool.
So you can run a leader skill that boosts attack by 300%, or you can run one that boosts attack and magic by 100.
Yeah, but you probably have. I mean, I have all four of these units. I don't have to pull anything to get them. It's just like a nice little boon. I think it's nice for people who can't pull on everything.
Yeah, it's nice. It's certainly nice for budget, and I'm sure they'll see use in budget guides and whatnot. And who knows? I mean, someone might even use them for the upcoming Clash of Wills. I'm interested to see how that's going to work, considering that the upcoming Clash is going to be half without leader skills and half with. So, how are they going to tune this boss, knowing that halfway through, everyone's just going to annihilate the boss with a leader skill unit, right?
That is interesting.
For the leader skill? I don't know. We can get to that, I guess, when we get to Clash. I might be getting ahead of ourselves here.
That'll be all the comments on Sinzar's video. What if I don't have leader skills?
Don't worry, because I probably won't either.
There you go. From the mouth of babes. Okay, so speaking of Ibara, here we go. So this is the new unit that they're showing us is coming out on the 16th. Blade of Vengeance Ibara. I think that the sprite is really, really cool, and I think that the CG art is really, really cool as well.
I gotta say, probably this is probably my favorite CG as far as quality of CG, because whenever it zooms in on her face, I feel like their computers or their system got an upgrade. Her facial expressions look really real. It doesn't look stifled or weird or anything. It looked really good.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed by, their CG department on that one.
A lot of people in chat were saying that she was throwing off. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to agree with Flip. It seemed like they really put a lot of resources into it, and they were definitely excited about it with the links they were going to explain Ibara, her creation, the story that goes with her. So it's clear they have a lot of love for Ibara and spent quite a bit of time making her look top notch, and she does. I mean, it's a beautiful unit, beautiful CG.
Yeah, that was a really interesting deep dive that they made into all the concept art and how they chose which one, and giving shout outs to the artists and the creators and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Show us that more often, and they told us the history of the guy who created Ibara and his storyline and the storyline he created and everything. Tell us that stuff more often. More of that. I loved that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, as long as Alex is there. Please don't do it if Justin is there. Oh my gosh.
So a lot of people in chat were saying that she's throwing off Ashura vibes, which is was, I thought, cut one of
100%.
She's got the half mask and the katana and the horns and all that. Pretty cool.
And the armor, and she's a Sura.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Here's the description that they gave of her. So a powerful mage that specializes in physical attacks that deal magic damage. So no surprise there. That's kind of like what we've been getting for the past, handful of units. Physical damage against 8 different enemy types for herself at 250%. So Sinzar, you were asking for more numbers in the descriptions and things. Here we go. 250 buffs for herself. Humans and demons by 200% for all allies, which is a huge jump from what we are currently used to. Extreme Nova LB chain in standard form, powerful one-hit LB and Brave Shift, and support ability effects such as filling the morale gauge and Endarka.
What do they consider a powerful LB effect?
That's a really good question. I don't know. You mean a powerful one-hit LB?
Yeah. What do they consider versus what we consider? It's like
knowing the modifier on that would be nice, I guess. But we'll find out more on Thursday.
I like any unit that can imbue to the party, so having Endarka is nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Very neat. Any thoughts before I move on to the next one?
Zahn's going to love stealing those 250% killers to all those races for dark visions.
For a premium unit, I would have rather the upgraded Endarka, not Ga, but
Oh well, that's true.
True.
That would be nice. Does that exist?
I don't think so, but the fire version does. So it's very easy to just copy paste the fire version and make it dark.
Sure.
Well, they fully expected you to pull for Melissa, so why do you need Endarka, right?
So they didn't give us information about her Brave Shift LB, only her standard form. Dancing Slash reduces spirit, reduces resistance to katanas for all enemies, boosts damage against all this stuff for herself. What do we hope the number is on this spirit break? What are we looking for realistically?
91.
90%.
91.
You're the closest without going over. Yeah, that would be super cool. That would be nutty.
I mean, we've had how long has Olive been out, and she's got a 90% on her LB. So I mean, yeah, why not? Why not crank it up to 11, right?
Yeah.
Do 91.
Did they specify what tags she has? I mean, they just say powerful mage. So I wonder if she's gonna have the breaker tag. I guess she probably would if she's got that break. Hard to say.
I would assume like Olive, right? Olive got breaker tag, right?
I believe she does.
Yeah, she does.
Cool. So there you go. Hopefully that's a nice LB. Speaking of abilities that they show that don't have a whole lot of numbers on them, so her featured EX ability, I don't think they specified if it was EX2 or 3, but they said boost LB damage and fill LB gauge for caster and fill morale at the beginning of the battle. And then the featured ability was Demonic Retribution, morale-based magic damage 2 times to all enemies, fill LB, reduce own spirit, and boost magic for the next attack. So it's like a magic boost, and fills morale.
For reducing her own spirit, for having the negative effect, it seems like they're probably going to pump that up a lot. Hopefully.
That's pretty much the classic. All the focuses in the game have that effect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's usually like 50% spirit break or spirit reduction or something.
Mm.
Still, we're getting some information there. And then, they showed us her leader skill. So, Sinzar, what are your thoughts on this one?
They are completely out of touch. So this leader skill is absolutely terrible because, well, the leader skill as a standalone is not terrible, but compared to Dio, it's
Yes.
just flat out worse.
Deoxys.
So both of them cover dark, okay, but then Dio also covers additional category, which is the JP anniversary units. So Dio is 500 to both stats, and Ibara is 550 to magic, and then only 300 to attack. The issue is there are far more physical dark dealers than magical. So Dio's is just dramatically superior in pretty much every possible way. The only unit that the 550 Magic could be like argued a case for is Golbez, because Golbez is kind of a big deal. But the issue is Golbez is a Neovision's Awakening, so his base stats are pretty low regardless. So they have much less of an effect on him anyway. So like 50% more magic, sure, it's nice on Golbez, but it's a very tiny boost. But losing 200 attack on everyone else, like for example Sephiroth or the upcoming Dark Reagan, etc., like that is just massively nerfed, and it's so much worse. Now if this was Dark and their brand new Clash of Wills tag, okay, that'd be fine, because like every other premium unit which buffs 2 categories, why is she just worse? She's just straight up worse than the standard, and it's frustrating to me. And this like immediately sours me to the entire unit, and I'm so disappointed, and it kind of killed the live stream for me.
You also don't get it until week 2, right?
That too, yeah.
So it's just like, you know.
So you get to do Clash of Wills first with just this version without the leader skill, and then the second one, I don't get how they're doing that.
Can we? There is maybe a possibility. Did they like explicitly state during this part? I might have missed it. Did they explicitly state she is just for Dark category? Like, is it possible that maybe just they forgot to put the Clash of Wills tag on there, and maybe she will have it, or maybe if enough people make us think about it, they'll stick a Clash of Wills tag on. I don't know. Opium.
Well, they've been wrong on these little note cards before. So I mean,
right?
It could have 4 Clash of Wills or whatever as tags on it later. Yeah.
I mean, realistically though,
that's my thinking, right?
If it's only Dark category units, who are you talking about for Clash of Wills? You're talking about her. You're talking about Lilith, and you're talking about Oliveira and Melissa, who's not doing damage.
Now this is more of a question, I guess, for Sinzar. So do all the units get updated, like every single unit, or do we have to wait for them in patches? Are they uncategorized until their batches, or whenever the update comes, like every unit gets classified?
JP did it in waves. It wasn't like you log in and every unit in the game had a category. They did it in waves, but they did them by category. So, for example, all the Dark classified units got the Dark tag during the DO update, and then as time went on, they added more updates. I think within 3 updates, the whole game had a category, even if that category didn't exist yet. Like, the Fire leader skill may not be out yet, but after a week or 2, they had all the stuff done. But it took them some time. I would assume that Global, because they can just copy paste what the work JP did, we might get all the units categorized on day 1, but it wasn't that way in JP.
Okay. Good to know. Here is her STMR and TMR. So for her STMR, we've got another 2-handed katana. It's Magic 242. Kind of a fun number, right? It also gives her an additional 500 and boosts Demon and Human Killer for 50% for her. And then for her TMR, it's a Magic 64, boosts Magic by 250, which is a little low compared to other ones. And again, Demons 50%. What do we think about these?
I like the Trust Mastery. I'm bored with STMRs that are weapons with killers on them. Like, give me a hat or a ring or a materia or something else. Just, I'm so bored with weapons.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just kind of boring.
It's just like, I feel like other TMRs that are unique to one person give us 500, don't they?
Yep, pretty much most of them do. There are exceptions, like Cartons, 2 years ago didn't.
Right.
But just about everything else does. Like the one we just got, Melissa, her TMR is 500 Spirit. Before that, Cleome, hers was 500 to her shirt. Yeah, same thing for Ayaka. Her accessory is 500. So I guess when you become premium, you get worse.
That is an interesting thing there, yeah. I mean, at least her STMR gives 500, so that's 750 total if you wear both of them. But at that point, why wouldn't you just wear a Emperor's ring or something like that?
exactly. Yeah, the Emperor's Ring pretty much wins out over that. So
unless you need the killers.
yeah.
So okay. Fewer STMR weapons, please. Here's her vision card. Attack 170, magic 170, LB damage 50%, attack and magic by 300, and damage limit for various chains by 100%. This is obtainable upon awakening unit to EX3, as Sinzar said. She's premium. What do we think about this card?
Well, once again, we're copying Dio and making it worse. So it's just Dio's card, but worse. Here we go again. So
what's worse about it?
Dio's card is the same thing. They both have 170 attack and magic as a base. Dio's card has 100 LB damage. Ibara's has 50. Dio's card has 500 flat stats. Ibara's has 300. Dio's third passive is 80% to attack and magic. Hers is chain cap up.
Okay.
So basically it's the same card, except it has 50 less LB damage and 200 less stats.
But you get hers a week early.
Well, if you get hers to EX3.
Some people will have hers a week early. Not all players.
Yeah, not too many people. I mean, it's nice. I mean, we, you know, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, those are big numbers. But apparently that is sort of going to be the way it is going forward with these premium leader skill units. So it's not like, you know, this is some new thing that we're not going to get, you know, more of in the future. And yeah, I feel like the passives are a bit weak. I do like the chain cap boost, just to, you know, for people that maybe don't have the Clash of Wills gear. But again, those are also the people that probably are not going to have an EX3 Ibara anytime soon. So it's sort of, again, gated behind a paywall for a lot of people, or just, you know, the sheer brute force of time and pulling off banners.
Now, one thing that they did specify is that she is not time limited, which is really nice. You know, if she's going to be premium, she's not going to be time limited. And so you can eventually get this just from randomly, you know, spiking a copy of her.
I mean, you say that, but I'm still waiting for Dark Rain. So like,
you don't have a Dark Rain at all?
No, I have one. I'm waiting for my dupe, so I can get another one of Magic Boost Plus.
Okay.
So I only have one. I have one. Yeah, I have one, and because I got one in the original banner, and I was like, one will be good for a little while. I'll pull a second one at some point.
Oh.
Still haven't pulled a second one.
Oh.
Listen to this guy with his one Dark Rain, man. You are rich compared to me. I've got 0 and it kills me.
Ugh. That's rough, because then you're missing out on Magic Boost Plus.
And I pull consistently. So I think that saying you know, a premium just showing up is they probably won't, because they do have a reduced pool on premiums. They reduced number percentage.
Okay.
You might not get her.
It's very, very possible. Very, very likely too.
Ever.
So we'll withhold our judgment as far as if we're going to pull or not. And I don't know. We'll see. But I do have a personal thing about premium units. So yeah. In addition to her, we're also getting a story event, a global story event. Yes, we're excited about that.
Very.
Why are we excited about this?
It adds like depth to the game, in my opinion. Like fleshing out like story of the characters, like actually gives you more of a connection to them. Like whenever like I just use I don't know, some character that doesn't have any story at all, they're just numbers to me. But whenever a character has like a backstory and a story event and everything, I'm excited to use them. You know, I'm like, yeah, and you sort of like get a nostalgia for like using the unit because you remember their story or whatever. Like it makes me more excited to use a unit whenever I know who they are. Sorry, that's me personally. But
no, I think that's probably true of everybody.
Yeah, absolutely agree. You know, having a story to go with the unit definitely, you know, builds a connection, and yeah, it does. It makes you excited to use the unit. You know, especially like, you know, around the story event, and it's always nice because then you know they've taken the time to put the effort into that unit, and so again, there is some thinking that they might come back around and spend more time enhancing the unit later on if they actually spent this time building an entire story for them.
Yeah, and for people who don't like story events, it's free lapis and a skip button.
That is true. That is true. I played the most recent story event live on Twitch, and we had a lot of fun just like joking about all the funny stuff that Mid and Jaego were doing, and it was fun to see. I don't know, kind of cool. In addition, with this story event, we are getting some gear. So we'll briefly go over these. They said the Fiendish Armor Plus Plus has some stats on it, of course. HP 20%, nice. But it also includes reduced physical and magical damage dealt by humans and demons at the beginning of battle or after being revived.
I want to be excited about that.
Why do you want to be excited about that?
Because it can reduce its racial mitigations on a piece of gear, on a piece of light armor, but it could be 5%.
What are the odds of that, though? I mean, how much was the cozy, the scarf or the sweater or whatever?
The cozy scarf was 20%. It was good, and it was like almost necessary for the ginger buff, man. Like that 20% permanent physical and magical mitigation against demon stone. Like now that was a limited. Well, I mean, this is, I guess, technically
this is limited.
Yeah.
We can hope for upwards of 20% because cozy scarf had it.
I hope so.
Yeah, those kind of skills are really, really awesome to have. I really hope to get that. That being said, Abigail can't really use it because she doesn't have a brave shift. So
True.
A little bit hurtful there.
That's the Super LB unit problem.
Such is life. Or you could wear this hat that reduces your resistance to silence by 25%.
No, it boosts resistance.
Yeah, boosts your resistance. Yeah, but only by 25%.
Because I have so many units that only have 75% silence resistance, and I need that 25%.
Yes, that is perfect.
Well, their idea is you're supposed to combine that hat with the Ring of Alexandrite from 6 years ago that imperils all your status effects by
There you go.
25%, and that'll cancel it out.
There you go. Good
comes
item
full circle.
memory.
It comes full circle.
And then a killer, humans and demons 50% with attack and magic 25%. It's there. I think it's pretty cool.
It's free.
We do like free.
Yeah,
I like free.
Never say no to free killers.
No, it's against the rules. So cool. We get a story event. Here's my one beef about story events though is hasn't there been like a handful of story events that we've skipped?
Yeah, there's been a lot of story events that we've skipped, specifically all the story events related to season 3.
Yeah.
We also skipped some recently too, like Vacation Fiend. I had a story event that we skipped very recently.
Yeah, so it's like I'm glad we're getting these, but I would really like to still at least just like give us the story. If you're not going to give us the lapis, I mean, I think they technically do give us the lapis like in like various little increments and stuff like that, login rewards and stuff like that. But like at least that's what they said they were doing.
I mean, you look at it like company wise, and they probably look at it like, okay, this event gives lapis. We can't do this event because it doesn't meet into the lapis we should be giving away this month because we've got these other sources. So they choose to not give us the story event, but just remove the lapis.
Yeah, give us the story. Let us watch the story.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's talk about the big one here. Clash of Wills, the Shogun of Unknown Origin. Looks pretty cool.
Very cool, yeah.
I kind of disagree, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, it's not bad or anything. I just feel like this sprite is more leaning towards generic, whereas a bunch of them are usually pretty unique. Like you wouldn't expect to see like a moth shark or like the mudkip or the derp dragon, stuff like that. This one just seems like a very generic enemy you'd see in like an exploration or something. I don't know. It's just kind of generic in my opinion. It's not bad. It's just generic.
Okay.
It does fit like the Ibara storyline kind of in a way, but it is a very generic enemy. Yeah, ogre.
That's what I was thinking. Like, does this tie into the lore of Ibara somehow? And maybe this is like actually someone. But sure, they could have done a bit more creative. And who knows? This might just be like the level 1.
I would assume this is Echelon 1.
Yeah, they always add some doodads for like the fifth echelon that, you know, can either be good or bad sometimes.
It's not a Clash of Wills
sometimes
boss.
it's just like color changes and stuff. You know, it doesn't always have. They don't like grow wings and.
So I feel like there was one that got bigger as it went along, but you know, it's not a Clash of Wills boss unless it has purple fire all over it. So you know, we're waiting for that. That's probably actually
change the Clash of Wills background. Oh my god, I'm so tired of it.
You want a new? Wasn't there a
the place that you fight in?
Wasn't there a changed background at Halloween or Christmas? One of those two. Am I crazy?
The Christmas one is different. Yeah, the Christmas one has snow and it's like an ice. You know, it's frozen wonderland or whatever. So every Christmas Clash of Wills background is different, but the other ones are generic.
Okay. So demon, human, dark, fire, ice. You know, so you know, I think there's a lot of potential useful units for those elements. You know, that's kind of cool.
But with the leader skills coming on the second week, it's going to be dark.
It's going to be dark. Yeah, for sure.
Olivera will rise again.
Mine is still EX2. That's unfair.
Just as a quick mention about that, I actually did some damage calculations for Clash of Wills, and with Melissa, Olivera is currently calculating the highest damage dealer in the game for Clash of Wills because Melissa's special skill that adds 60x to an LB, it applies 4 times to Olivera.
Ooh.
And the big problem with Olivera was that he doesn't have a good amplify. Melissa fixes that on top of that. So yeah, Olivera, and also Olivera can cap the killers too, because this is a very, very easy to gear for killer boss.
Right.
So yeah, Olivera can potentially be really good here, depending on the fight.
Nice. That's very hopeful.
Love it.
Very hopeful. Let's see here. Oh, so it says he does non-elemental magic as well as physical attacks. You want to deal fire, ice, or dark, or face a very powerful fixed damage attack. Bring magic-based attackers such as Blade of Vengeance Ibara to avoid a powerful single target attack. And he lowers your dark, fire, and ice resistance. So you want to bring stuff that can deal with that, such as Ibara. But also they mentioned Cleome and Ayaka.
So what do you think that third point means specifically, technically? Like,
yeah, that one worries me.
That is really weirdly worded. So you want to bring magic-based attackers such as Ibara to avoid powerful single-target attacks, but she's a physical-type magic-based damage. It's bizarre.
I'm worried that we're going to get another defense break retaliation.
And isn't this is the third boss of the season, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes. They can't do that, can they?
If they do it again.
Well, because they just gave us Abigail, who auto breaks every single turn. So
you don't use her.
I swear to God, if they, I just got her to EX3. If they make it to where I can't bring Abigail, like I will be annoyed.
They want. I hope. Maybe. Do they want you to tank this with Lilith? Is that what they're asking for?
They're putting her in as the tag. So
oh man, I have EX3 Lilith. I can do this. Okay.
Oh man. Well, I guess you can always bring Runda to tank that single target attack. I guess. I mean, I guess at least it's not like I'm gonna buff myself by 100, 200% and then slaughter your team. So it might at least be manageable. Well, I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, that feels like they're trying to keep a few select units out of this particular battle. I don't like that.
But they're not telling you not to bring Chow this time, so you could do that if you really wanted to.
Yep.
And Chow does do some nice things for fire and dark resistance, I believe.
Is Chow the unit with the longest longevity in like that has existed in Brave Exvius? I think he is.
Probably, but at the same time, one thing you do have to keep in mind with Chow is he has pretty bad actual bulk, and then if you gear him for counters, it's like really bad bulk. Like he is made of paper, and if you can't straight up immune the damage, he is almost definitely going to die.
Yep.
So the boss doing non-elemental magic means I sort of doubt Chow is going to be viable. He may be, I have no idea, but I would assume that Chow with his Omni Carver, which has horrible mitigation and his just bad bulk and half his slots geared for counter, is probably not going to be viable. But
Yeah.
I mean, it could be powerful single target physical with accuracy attacks. I mean, who knows, you know?
Yeah, don't know. We'll see.
We will see. So that's exciting, but I think this is more exciting, is the crown is getting upgraded.
Pretty cool. So
Yeah.
once again, we always use just the rulers.
Yeah. Which they didn't even demonstrate for us. They showed us Magisters, they showed us Conquerors, and then they showed us Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers, of course, having a 150% killer. Sorry about that. Somebody just did something. Okay, so yeah, 150 killers for Reaper and Stone, which is kind of high on a just a single item that you wear.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean that one could be worth at least getting the recipe. It's not something I would have constantly upgraded, but
it's because it's because of the unique combination of Stone Reaper. Like if you were fighting specifically against a Stone Reaper, then yes, this would be worth it.
Now, Halloween 2 years in a row has had a Stone Reaper Clash of Wills enemy.
Very true.
Which you could raise. So
We don't talk about that.
You couldn't do it to Mortrim. You had to suffer
Yes.
through Mortrim.
Oh gosh, Mortrim was a nightmare for some people. Okay, so yeah, upgraded Clash of Wills gear, and that's really all the stuff they showed us as far as like events and stuff. But then they also told us about a couple other things. They showed us we're gonna get a daily 5 summon for 7 days. And they did mention that Ibara is in this, so you could get an Ibara off of this. They also showed us some login bonuses with the old Ibara on it, as well as 50 fragments. So everybody in the game is now going to have Ibara EX1. And
Yay.
also...
doesn't make her good.
No, it's true. But she probably is going to have the Dark Tag, and her Shift LB does do pretty high modifier, isn't it? Not anymore.
No, I've calculated her. She gears absolutely.
Oh, she's horrible at gear, yeah.
Abysmal. And even if you max her out with the full whale gear, she's got like 6,000 magic.
Yeah.
It's she even a leader skill cannot save her at this point. She needs an intrinsic or something.
Womp womp. But then we are also going to get some Swordmaster Ibara fragments. Interesting. Don't think they said that was her name. But yeah, and more. So yeah, pretty cool. Then they showed us some updates. So they told us that we can now fight against the Dark Visions bosses after Dark Visions has ended without spending any energy.
Which is kind of okay, but it's like you can fight against the old content that's going to cycle out.
Practice, strategy, team building.
I guess.
For people that want to play with the new units that come out after Dark Visions, I suppose, and they just want to, because I mean, I know a lot of people like to just play in a sandbox, and it's better than like the training dummy, I guess. It's better.
It's
than,
not a bad addition.
Like a raid. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but it's also nice that it's something else you can do on those off weeks.
Yeah, the only time I've really used this in JP is like once, is when I wanted to use 6 units of my own in a party to test a chaining setup for a future boss. And you can't bring 6 units to the training dummy. You can't bring 6 of your own units in JP. So the only option to bring 6 of your own units is to Dark Visions, basically. So yeah, I guess I could have gone to the Chamber of Arms, but I didn't think of it at the time. But yeah, that
would still cost you energy though, too, right?
Oh yeah, that's true too. But it's not really a feature you're going to use hardly ever or ever at all for most players. But it doesn't hurt, I guess.
Yeah. Now I don't. A broken record, right? I don't play JP. So did the true dual wield bonus increase at the same time as Dio, or did that come with Crimson Reign?
I don't remember. I think the cap was raised around the same time period. the thing with Rain was the 8x chain cap, but not not the gear cap.
Okay.
Yeah, the gear cap I think raised a little bit earlier, and I want to just take this moment to complain a little bit.
Please?
Because one of the big things that came with that update was the update to Konshira's Super Trust Mastery reward. Because, as I can tell you, if you're trying to, for example, gear Dark Rain in his dual wield build with the new 400 chain cap or 400 gear cap, it is very challenging because the only sources are 50% sources, and he doesn't have that much passive. So they updated Konshira's STMR to give 100% true dual wield to magic and physical. When that's a really key important piece to true dual wield units, and it's also good on the upcoming Rain and pretty much anyone else that dual wields. It's a really big deal, and Global skipped that update. And that means, and also Global doesn't have the Ling Super Trust Mastery. And JP, that's a materia, a 100% magical true dual wield. So Global has literally no sources whatsoever of 100% magical true dual wield because we skipped that, and that's kind of a problem. So I just figured I'd bring attention to that.
Hopefully somebody important hears that and realizes, oh, that was an oversight. We should have included information about that or talked about that or something, but... yeah, that's very true. Okay. So that's going to take us into questions. So here is this is the Q&A section that they gave us. And here was question number 1. Certain parts of the community who happen to be on this video were unhappy with Abigail's EX ability, Smokescreen Machine, due to the ability automatically applying a status ailment on the enemy, therefore making it harder for players to apply the status ailment when they want. Would it be possible to avoid this in the future when designing new units? And their answer was, thank you for your opinion, but we can't promise it won't happen, because the possibility is not completely zero considering the concept of unit designs. However, we will give this suggestion some serious thought.
So on the one hand, I'm glad they even addressed the concern because, I went through the whole reason why I think that's a concern previously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice that at the very least, they're like, we heard you, but their answer is the most non-answer ever. It's like, yeah, we heard you. And okay, we heard you, but we're not really going to give an answer. So I'm not even sure how to feel about this.
But that's how they answer every question.
Not the next one.
That is true. That is true.
No,
it's always a non-answer.
Not the next question.
The next one is a total shot to the heart. But so other than so I can think of 3 units off the top of my head that do this. So Awakened. It is Awakened. Awakened Warrior of Light has an auto blind. Kresnik has an auto everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Abigail has auto blind. So, are there any other units that have this that you can think of that just without doing anything, just they apply status effects?
It's possible, but there's none that come to mind right now.
Okay. I think it's one of those things. It's like it's really cool. Like it makes sense that Awakened Warrior of Light has it because he's like shining radiant beacon of light, and it makes sense that they have it. But like, it's really annoying. And especially, isn't Kresnik's only locked behind an awakened skill?
Yes. If you people during the boss where this was a major problem, the Mortarum boss like a year ago, yes, the people that had multiple Kresniks, they literally leveled, awakened, EX leveled a second Kresnik just to be able to take him and not awaken that skill to avoid this problem. So yeah.
So 2 units in a 2-year period that are relevant to Clash of Wills have this issue, and we don't like it. So question number 2. Is there a timeline for when more Clash of Wills bosses will be added to the Chamber of the Vengeful? Oh, thank you for this question. No.
Yeah.
Right here.
This moment right here killed me. Yep.
Sinzar, you lost it.
Died inside.
You lost it when Ibara's leader skill wasn't as good as Dio's. Like I lost it right here. Like this is when I just this is a completely offensive answer because they've promised, or they didn't promise, but they said that we were gonna get more. They said that we were gonna get more the very first time they ever told us Chamber of the Vengeful was a thing. And people have been asking this question for months in their live streams and in their I see it on social media, I see it all kinds of places, and they've never really said anything until now, and the answer is, oh, I know we said it. Well, they're not even saying we know we said it, but they did say it, and the answer is no. But we do like making new content, so we're going to see if we can make something that's more fun.
It's pretty disappointing. I don't like that. Like,
Very.
why do you think that is? Do you think like they're just too hard to copy paste the Clash boss? Do you think they feel the pots and tickets from the unit milestones are too lucrative? Like, why would they just be like, no?
It was such a neat opportunity for players who can't do Clash of Wills as well to like gradually get some Xenostone. You know, here's a free piece of gear, like helping players out. Like, it's just such a neat option. Ugh. Go ahead, Flip.
I think their problem is they're a small company, and they probably just don't have enough workforce to implement it. Honestly.
But they have enough workforce to make something that's even more fun.
No, they have enough workforce to promise that they'll work on something, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. They're looking to see if we can revamp it to make it more fun. Okay, yeah.
No, not it. No.
Revamp content.
The content describes the entire game. So the vagueness of this essentially says, we're not going to do Clash of Wills, but we're going to look at the game and see if we can do something that you guys will like.
Yeah. We all lit up at the same time there. We all sighed at the same time.
I think, yeah, that was a collective sigh of depression.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, and that's really it. Like, that's about, that sums it up right there. Just sigh. And yeah.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Yep. I can't even look at it anymore. Number 3. Gosh, when is auto function coming? Thank you for waiting. It's going to come on March 23rd. You can now auto farm missions and events, so you can get materials easier now. Wasn't this a question last month?
That I actually had an answer for.
No, it's just an import from the JP version, but yeah, thank you.
Wasn't this a question last month too?
It's very overdue. This came with the Bart's event,
right?
So we're like 2 months late for it.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. So one thing I did mention was that they at this point in the stream took a moment to look at chat, and they made some comments about like Ibara. They like addressed some immediate questions like, is she time limited? And they said she wasn't. I feel like there was something else. Oh, that they said something in passing about Dark Visions. Like, oh, when it was going to reopen. They said that it's going to reopen on the 16th. And like, I thought that was really neat that they threw like, I took a minute to look at chat.
I really hope that they do that in the future, and like a time space for it. Be like, okay, for the next 5 minutes, we're going to take questions from chat. Now, we're not going to be able to answer everybody, and we're going to pick and choose, but we're going to take questions from the chat that we see. And if they did that, that would significantly improve everything, I think. They can pick and choose. Do you think they did that
only because Hiroki was there, and he's sort of like, he can actually answer questions? If we get like another live stream and it's just Alex and Tony, or God forbid Justin and Tony,
it's just Alex and Justin.
Really, if they can't, because they obviously have limits to the answers they can give. So I mean, it was nice, and I think it only happened because Hiroki was there. I don't know if we should expect it every time, but I was happy to see that.
Well, then bring Hiroki in every time. It's one video a month.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. My personal favorite, though, I have to be honest, was that Tony said in the middle of it, right towards the end, he said, yes, we're seeing lots of comments about FanFesta, and that's something that we're considering doing this year in person. And Hiroki said so himself. And I thought that was super cool. That's something I've been, personally been pushing for, and I want to go. So y'all need to figure it out, and then I'll go. That's all I'm going to say.
If you build it, we will come.
Yes, we will. We will crowdsource it, and I will go.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not paying for a flight back to the States for a fan festa, but I'll be there in
Oh
spirit.
no, they'll do it. They'll do an Aussie one. We'll all have to fly there.
Yeah, we will force it
Yes.
to happen over there. Yeah.
Yes, Vegemite for everyone.
Yes. So we're rounding out here. Oh, I need to move this really quick. They showed us that we're going to be getting some. This was the producer present rewards, and in fact, the commentary was made that they are, or that they were using the producer power to make these rewards better than usual. So we get 1,000 lapis, a guaranteed ticket, Transcension Pearl, 30 times 10 energy restores, and a Diamond Enlightenment key. Did you guys know that there's a cap to how many enlightenment points you can have?
Yes.
Yep.
It's
50,000.
annoying. I just found out about that recently.
Use it. Use them.
On what?
Killers.
Yeah,
Killers. Make killers.
pretty much.
Killers, that's it.
Oh,
Make
gosh.
6 of each.
And then, this was so cool. So they showed us the T-shirt, and as a present, everybody's going to be getting this picture off of social media. So you can make this your phone background, unless you have a flip phone. Maybe you can if you have a flip phone. I don't know. But they specifically said phone background, so yeah.
Turn it into a big sticker and put it on the outside.
There you go. Make me a phone case. There you go. I like it. Looks cool. The T-shirt looked really cool too.
Yeah, I'm just. Why can't we buy them?
That's a good question. Would you buy it?
Yeah, they keep saying, like, unfortunately we can't do enough of these shirts to put them up on the store or whatever, but we'll be able to give a few away for essentially raffles.
Yeah.
How hard is it to put up some T-shirts on? I could do that. I don't understand.
You probably shouldn't though. All right, so
Maybe they don't think they would actually make enough money off of it. Maybe they just don't think there's. I mean, I imagine a lot of people would buy it, but maybe they just don't think there's going to be enough people to make it worth it. There's got to be something.
I mean, there are people who are just Final Fantasy collectors, and just because it says Final Fantasy on it, they'd buy it.
Definitely.
I would buy it as long as it comes in my size. I got a T-shirt from the Xenogears event. I got chosen from that, and my extra large shirt that I requested came in as a medium, so it does not fit me.
I was at one of the fan festas, and I got, whenever they used to give away the rainbow hoodie, I got the rainbow hoodie as a prize.
Yeah.
And I'm 6'4", and
You're 6'4"?
Yeah, I'm 6'4", and yeah. Sorry for that shock. So the sleeves are super short on it, and it feels like I'm hulking every time I wear it.
Okay.
Because the size in the tag is free size.
Yeah. There's been a couple people in the Facebook group who've talked about things like that. This was the one they sent me. It's a Blue Mage Fina shirt.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's neat.
Nice.
It's just a medium. And I am not a medium boy. So, yeah. Anyways,
Put off the front and put it on a different shirt that fits you.
I'm thinking I'm going to frame it, actually, eventually. So,
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
yeah. So, I think that kind of wraps up as far as the live stream goes. Before I bring up one last question that I want to ask you guys about, is there anything else that we want to talk about in regards to the live stream itself that we didn't hit?
I think we covered pretty much everything.
I loved that they did the art stuff. I love that they
Yes.
really showed us how the unit was made. That was really kind of cool and in depth. I loved that.
I'm glad that we didn't have sideshow games.
That was missing, right? No more wasabi cream puff roulette.
Yeah.
They must have had it. So they must have had it in as a maybe, and then they just had to get cut because I mean we were missing 45 minutes of content there. They promised us an hour and 30 minutes of live stream, and they gave us a 50% discount.
It was about 47 minutes, yeah.
That's probably what happened. They probably had to have whipped cream for it or something, and somebody forgot to go out and buy it, so they canceled the game show part.
Yep.
Missed opportunity. So I think it would be remiss for the four of us to be here together and not talk about this. And I just want to take a quick flyby about Dark Visions and just kind of like collectively how we feel about Dark Visions and just the interesting set of circumstances that we've had over the past 2 weeks of stuff related to it. So, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on this?
I'm kind of annoyed, honestly.
Why are you annoyed?
Well, I mean, okay, so I definitely can't blame Gumi for the bug because it's kind of unexpected. The bug was a very specific scenario to happen, and okay, they didn't see that coming. It wasn't discovered in JP. Fine, whatever, sure. You can't really blame players for using it either because it's not like they were downloading a modded APK or something. They weren't hacking the game. They were just using a bug that existed in the game, sure. So Gumi's response is going to be to reset scores, do something to the fight where you can't do this again. I'm 99% sure they are not going to be fixing the bug because that would be a whole big deal. That's like
It's really complicated.
Yeah, so the bug can't be fixed, at least not in a short time frame. So if they bring the fight back, what's going to stop people from doing the same bug again? They've got to do something. So are they going to reduce the bulk of the ads, which kind of throws off the strategies we already had last week, etc.? Are they going to remove the ad? Are they going to remove the ads entirely, which totally kills the Riku strategy as well? Which is honestly, I'd be okay with that just because I don't like Riku, but still, that would just really throw off the balance of what we had. That would mean I would personally probably lose top 1000, so I'd lose Galvanite, which is also bad. But honestly, the biggest thing of all that irritates me is their compensation. Like, in no galaxy did I ever expect 50,000. On the other hand, I spent something like 4 or more hours rerunning that stupid fight for my Riku clear. I must have run it minimum 50 times to get a good roll. I eventually got a high counter roll. I was happy. I was going to definitely make top 500 by the end, as things were. Now they're resetting the scores. So, and their only compensation is a few energy pots, which not enough to cover the runs I did, and 500 lapis. So I'm going to have to go, even if the fight is exactly the same, just the bug has been fixed somehow. I'm still going to have to go back and chase that high Riku roll, which might happen the first time. It might not ever happen again within 4 hours. It might take me 6 hours to get that roll again. And the only compensation is 500 lapis. Like, it just feels insulting. Like, my time is worth more than that. And they wiped out my... I didn't even use the bug. And I'm still getting caught up in the wipeout. And I have to run it again. It annoys me. It's really irritating. I want them to just close Dark Visions. We're done. We're moving on. Give everyone like a 10K Vision World reward, and just say, forget it. We're just going to move past this.
I think that would have been a probably just a better overall. Would have made everybody a lot happier because and it's hard because I don't know that they can ever please everyone, but I think that probably would have been a better response to just shut it down, especially with Clash of Wills coming. Like, I don't want to have to worry about rerunning Dark Visions and having to do Clash of Wills. Like, I don't have that
launching
much
on the same week.
Yeah, exactly. Launching at the same time, and now I've already got my team that I use loaded up, and I'll just rerun it. I'll probably just do it once and say, forget it, I'm out of here. I got 500 lapis, which is more than I ever would have gotten because I don't have Riku. So, I kind of came out ahead in this Dark Visions. But I know a lot of people would have, who had Riku would have come out with much better rewards, and they might not with this scenario. So I can understand the frustration. And personally, I think, they should have just shut it down and said, here's some here's some better lapis compensation, and we're just going to pretend like this Dark Visions never existed.
I sit the fence. So like, I also did not do the thing, and I also had not even started to do. I hadn't started my descent into madness of Riku clears yet, because like I was just starting to get an idea for what what my team was going to look like. How could I take existing stuff and work with what I had and try and do something. And that's when I saw Flip's video before anything else, that kind of like showed what was going on. And then I was like, well, I'm going to stop. I don't want to invest too much time. I don't want to invest any energy. I just need to wait for the dust to clear before I do anything else. And so for me, having not spent any time and energy and resources, 500 is great. I'm like Sartre in that respect. Like I'm already ahead of the game because I haven't had to refill my energy or anything like that. I don't know. I feel like 10K would be lovely, but I feel like that's unrealistic. But I also feel like the bigger issue for me is the people that I've seen who are like really, really upset about it, that they're not getting 50, almost like a sense of entitlement around, like, I did this, I achieved this. Look, I was rank 1 for the first time ever. And like, well, you weren't though. Like you were, but like it was not the way. It's not the way it's not the way they want you to play it. And I think the fact that they shut it down, they're resetting it, is a very clear indication this is not as intended. Don't do things like this. But I can see how 500 is a slap in the face too.
So piggybacking on you there. So I released that video because there was all this information was starting to come out of how the bug was available. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want like 2 or 3 people to have access to it and for them to have the score, mm-hmm. and then, nothing to be done about it. If everybody doesn't have the information, then a few people get to abuse the bug, nothing gets done, and it's completely ruined.
Oh no, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so if few people can do this through a very simple means, everybody should have access to it, and Gumi should have to make a decision of what their response is. And it's unfortunate that it happened, but it had to be addressed. And so that's why I put the video out.
Really, the biggest problem here is Gumi's slowness to react. Like, the minute someone pinged me and mentioned about that bug, like before it even became widely public, I said they have to close Dark Visions down. Like, you guys just pull the plug instantly before the spreads. And it took them like 72 hours to even address it in the news. Like, they definitely were aware of it when it happened, and they did nothing. They literally did nothing for 3 days, and it became super widespread. You had 1,000 or more people doing it, and that's what led us to the point where now we have to reset everybody. If they had just pulled the plug instantly, and then they wouldn't even have to reset scores, because maybe like 2 people would have done it. They could have manually fixed them.
But that's not entirely true, though, right? Because didn't they hotfix 64-bit operating systems?
No, they couldn't have hotfixed it, but they could have shut down Dark Visions until they had whatever solution they're gonna do next maintenance. Before a bunch of people capped, and now they're forced to reset everyone because they let it go for 3 days.
Okay, because I thought at some point very early on they made it so that people with certain devices and operating systems could not do it at all.
Oh, as far as I'm aware, no. It's still, you can still do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was always.
Yeah, it's always been a 32-bit thing. Like it's a bug that they've just coded around instead of fixing the bug.
Okay, so it's not that they changed it to address it. It's just always a part of that. Okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Either way, not intended, because it's not it's not the design. It's not what they want. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? What is the real issue though? Is the issue Riku, or is the issue Rivera?
For that setup, well, you couldn't have one. You couldn't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Rivera didn't, Rivera or Behemi, because you can do it with either one.
True.
But
that's also a global option.
Mm-hmm. And there are specific bosses where Riku could still potentially be worth it, because Riku does have cover in her kit naturally, single target. So it would have to be double the single targets that would make it worth it while. So it's a lot more uncommon for that to be the case. But you see, I don't want to say like Rivera is the problem, because I think stuff like Rivera giving unique global exclusive tools is amazing, and that makes the game more fun. So people that are saying like Rivera was a mistake, should have never existed, I disagree with that entirely. It's just like this specific combination ended up being a problem. But
I mean, it happened with Bulwark and Riser. You know, like that was an interaction they didn't plan for, but it happened, and it was because of a global exclusive unique kit.
I mean, heck, it happens with Golbez because of a global exclusive item that he can equip that suddenly makes it so that he caps everything very, very easily and does absurd damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like it's a problem sometimes. It is, but at the same time, it's also what makes global more fun, that we have these cool tools, because 99% of the time, the global exclusive stuff is just really cool. Like Kaito's Madness, that hasn't broken the game yet. Someday it may completely break a boss that was not supposed to be removed their buffs, but now Kaito can do that and the boss is broken. But I think that kind of stuff is super cool and fun, and it's why I love Kaito as one of my favorite units, because he has that super cool, unique skill that doesn't even exist on the JP server, and I want more of that.
I think the problem may be more in like, do they have enough bug testers? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for anything that opens the field and the enjoyment to a wider audience. Like if more people are enjoying the game because they get to take Riku into Dark Visions and score well, then I'm because I've never been someone, I'm not a whale. I don't spend a lot on the game, and so Dark Visions has never been content that I take all that seriously. And but seeing people that are free to play actually being able to get decent scores and like Dark Visions, I think is really cool. I can understand how it would upset people who do spend a lot of money, because I think that is the perfect platform for that type of player is Dark Visions, because they can really compete with each other to see what they can do with the best units available in the game. And I think that's great. Let them have it. I'm going to enjoy my Clash of Wills. And so, it doesn't really affect me as long as it's not breaking the game to such a point that it makes the game less fun for me, which Riku isn't. I mean, I do I do hate seeing myself going from like around the top 1,000 to now like I'm lucky if I stay in the top 3,000. That kind of sucks, but it is what it is, and she's not going to be viable for every single Dark Visions going forward. But as long as she gets to have some fun every now and then, as long as it's not like a permanent thing that it's always going to be Riku all the time, I'm fine with it.
Whenever it's a unit that is on banner, I'm okay with it. It's like you have the option to go and spend for it. That's fine. You can go pull for it. You can go use your Lapis. But whenever it's like you don't have Riku because you didn't pull for her 5 months ago, and she's now the reason that you can't compete for the score, that feels bad. There's no way you can fix the problem.
That was definitely true with Aldaba, the Derp Dragon, right? Because at that moment, at that point in time, you pretty much needed Celeste, and if you didn't have her, you were gonna have a really hard time dealing with that, and she wasn't on banner.
Yeah, it's whenever an option isn't provided for you to fix your problem. If they give you it and you want to remain free to play, and you like, that's fine, or whatever. But like for instance, I would say I'd have an EX1 Riku. I can't do anything about making her an EX3, so my score is just gonna suck for a problem that I from not pulling 5 months ago, and there's no way I can fix that now. Like even if I had the money and wanted to spend all of it on Riku right now, there's no way I can fix that. That feels terrible.
Yeah. So did you pull for on that 28K step up for the UOC? I know a lot of people did. that they had like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking for me specifically.
Right.
Okay.
Right. 28K is also a lot to drop if you don't have a huge stockpile and don't spend any money in the game.
Right, but that's not always available.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
That was available for a 2-week period once. And for instance, like this Riku thing keeps coming up every time.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, and I feel like that step up was sort of like, because Riku had been around for, I mean, she'd been doing shenanigans for a while, and I feel like that was almost like an advertisement for, hey, this is your chance to pick up a Berserker Riku if you want to. But yeah, I definitely understand. I think Gumi saw it and maybe was like, hey, maybe we can milk some people for Riku. Like they put Riku in the pool for the DB tickets, which I got 0 Neo Visions again. Not surprised there, but you could have potentially picked up a Berserker Riku on the DV ticket this past one. So I maybe they know what they're doing. They're just trying to milk people here a little bit on the Riku thing. Maybe they have no interest in solving this issue.
Oh, it's the current tickets though, right? I think because the last one was Cecil. This one, I think she's on the current one.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, the current one exactly.
Yeah, so you've still got a couple more days.
Oh, do we get some more? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because you get them until Wednesday. So, yeah.
That's true. I feel like it's already over because I've pulled nothing but blues and yellows. But yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, guys, if you can believe it, we have hit almost the advertised amount of time that they had specified for their own live stream. So we're at an hour and 26. So I think it's probably a good time for us to stop. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and chit-chatting and stuff and talking and providing insight and thoughts and opinions. I love all of it. Really appreciate all the things you guys do for your own groups and your own communities, and the game as a whole. It's a lot of fun to have you come and visit.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thanks for putting this together every month, man. This is really fun.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me on this one, Gert. So much fun getting to chill and hang out and talk about the game with you guys.
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to it since they announced it, so very cool. And for everybody who's still been paying attention and still watching, I will look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday for preppers and all the stuff that we do. Until then, be good to each other, take care, and good luck getting a Riku on your last couple DV tickets.